The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty.
Powerful moments inside an Ada County courtroom today as family members of the 4 University of Idaho students killed nearly 3 years ago talk directly to their loved one's killer.
We will grow old without our only child, our bright, beautiful friend and daughter.
That man, Brian Kohberger, will spend the rest of his life behind bars. And tonight, newly released investigative documents shed light on the brutality of the murders. Complete coverage of the sentencing and reaction starts right now. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We start tonight with the latest chapter in the brutal murder of 4 University of Idaho students. Nearly 2.5 years after they were stabbed to death in the middle of the night, their killer learned his fate. Brian Kohberger will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Today, a judge sentenced him to 4 consecutive life sentences without parole. Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were found dead in their off-campus home in Moscow back in November of 2022. A knife sheath found at the crime scene that contained Kohberger's DNA, combined with cell phone and online records and more, led to the arrest of Kohberger, a graduate criminology student at Washington State University. Today's hearing was filled with emotion, rage, sadness, and a desire for an explanation. KREM 2's chief journalist Amanda Rowley was in the courtroom today for the entire sentencing, and tonight she brings us the key moments from the Ada County courtroom.
This hearing was unlike any other in this case so far. This was the chance for the families of the 4 victims to finally confront Kohberger, and they did not hold back. They poured their hearts out in the courtroom. And for the first time, we heard from the 2 surviving roommates about their deep emotional trauma and their determination to live life to the fullest to honor their friends. Here's some of those remarks.
Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again.
Speaking today is to help me find some sort of justice for them. And I will never let him take that from me. He may have taken so much from me, but he will never get to take my voice. He will never take the memories I had with him.
It helps us to know that he is in heaven now, freed from the trials of this earth. We, however, continue to live on without the grace and support of her presence.
The world's watching because of the kids, not because of you. Nobody cares about you. You're not worth the time, the effort to be remembered.
During the entire sentencing, Brian Kohberger kept a blank stare. He looked at the families as they read their statements, but showed no emotion. While we now know who committed the murder of 4 young lives taken too soon, we still may never know why. In a press conference following the hearing, investigators say they found no evidence pointing to Kohberger's motive.
We had every resource possible, and we worked that tirelessly. Both from everything from his side, but all the victims and all the members of the House from their side. So we have never, to this date, found a single connection between him and any of the 4 victims or the 2 surviving roommates.
I asked Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson about the outcome of this case.
The Mogan family at the plea hearing had mentioned saying that this is the best possible outcome. Just wondering, do you agree with that, or would you have liked to have seen a different outcome?
Well, I think we agree with the Mogan family. Our decision was that this is the best possible outcome, all things considered, and factoring into that the defendant was prepared to plead guilty as charged. Now, if that hadn't been a factor, we'd be picking a jury for trial starting right now.
He also acknowledged the plea deal happened quickly, saying the logistics of the upcoming trial played a factor.
With 10,000 prospective jurors being summoned in, the court staff making arrangements and preparing to process that part of the case dictated that if the case was going to resolve, it needed to resolve quickly.
This may close the legal chapter, but not the pain. The families say they'll never fully heal, but they are holding on to the light their loved ones left behind. Reporting in Boise, Amanda Rowley, back to you.
Following today's sentencing, the Moscow Police Department made public a trove of investigative documents that describe what police found when they first arrived at the crime scene. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy has been combing through some of those documents. He is joining us live tonight with more. Connor?
Well, Mark, police released hundreds of pages of documents today, with more expected in the days and weeks ahead. They paint a gruesome picture of the brutality of the killings and some of the evidence police found at the scene.
Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, and Kaylee Gonzalez were murdered on November 13th, 2022. Documents write Coberger came into the victim's home through the back door of the house on King Road. They state one of the victims was hiding in the bathroom in the home and heard a man's voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," but not in a nice way. Documents also reveal Xana suffered from more than 50 stab wounds and Kaylee suffered from more than 20. Kaylee's face was also unrecognizable when police arrived on scene. After gathering evidence of large footprints and DNA evidence of a knife sheath, police arrested Brian Kohberger 6 weeks after the murders. Court documents go on to write interviews with inmates at Latah County Jail who shared space with Kohberger. One described him as intelligent, polite, and that he had habits like staying up all night and washing his hands multiple times a day. Right now, there are still thousands of documents that have not been released. Moscow Chief of Police Anthony Dallinger says while more documents will be released in the future, some may never be made public.
I hope everybody can understand the immense amount of information that's in this investigation is going to take a lot of time to prepare. It has to be gone through legally to be redacted or figured out whether or not it can actually be released.
Judge Stephen Hippler said last week that process will take months, if not longer.
We're still combing through the investigation records posted today. Stay with KREM 2 News as we learn more details. We'll keep you updated on air, online, and on KREM 2+. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, Connor, thank you very much. Let's talk weather now on this Wednesday night with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo standing by in the Outdoor Weather Center tonight. Jeremy, a noticeable warm-up today compared to Monday and Tuesday.
And Mark, we're even hanging on to some of that warmth here this late at night. Temperatures still in the 70s, and we are likely going to stay warm through much of the evening and those overnight hours, all thanks to a ridge of high pressure. That ridge is building overhead, and it's very similar to a pattern we've been in repeatedly this summer. Ridge builds overhead, you have a storm moving in out of the Gulf of Alaska and a disturbance sliding through British Columbia, and what that means for us is wind, and that's it. And that's how we go through the next couple of days. A couple of stray showers earlier today have died down and moved out. Tomorrow morning, wake up to temperatures around 60 degrees here in Spokane, low 50s in Deer Park, Newport, Sandpoint, and areas off to the north. But it is a relatively warm one because by tomorrow afternoon, we're climbing back up to about 90 degrees. It is going to be a scorcher. Mid-90s out in central Washington, 100 degrees down in Richland. 91 tomorrow. It is a bit breezy with that first disturbance sliding through. Friday offers another round of wind and a high of 87 before we cool down this weekend. But even as we cool, we're only dropping into the low 80s Saturday and Sunday.
Sounds good, Jeremy. I'll check back in with you later in the show. Don't go to bed yet. Today marks the culmination of years of grief. Tonight, we are taking a look at each of the Moscow murder victims and the lasting legacy they have left on for all those who love them. But first, the quadruple homicide rocked the small town of Moscow. Today, we went back to talk with community members now that Coberger has been sentenced.